Wow, there's a lot of exciting stuff in this chapter. From Shanks showing his true colors to a big twist with Blackbeard. Plus, a surprise with Luffy and the Straw Hats at the end. It's wild, so don't miss out on this awesome chapter. If you enjoy One Piece reviews like this, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Also, make sure to click the notification bell so you don't miss any future reviews and updates. And now, without further delay, let's jump into the spoilers. This chapter is titled Taking Responsibility, and that simple title will have big consequences. We also get another Yamato cover story mystery. Yamato is eating soba in a curry shop, and the girl working there tells Yamato that her coworkers have disappeared. So we can expect that mystery to be solved in future cover stories. It's great how even the cover stories have cliffhangers. The chapter begins on the Elbaf ship, where the Straw Hat crew, the Giants, and everyone else are continuing their party and celebrations. This is a big chapter because we finally move on from Egghead and dive fully into this new arc, and it does not disappoint. At this point, Oimo and Kashi explain that after what happened in Water 7, 2 years ago, they went to Little Garden to see Dory and Bragi. Unsurprisingly, they found them fighting because their weapons were destroyed. Oimo and Kashi realized that Dory and Bragi can't finish their fight to the death without weapons, so they convinced their bosses to return to Elbaf to get new ones. So, if you were hoping they'd moved past the duel, you'll be disappointed. Nami even asks directly if they'll keep fighting, and Dory and Bragi say, definitely. Nami responds with, I'm done, while Usopp says, didn't you learn anything from Little Garden? Luffy chimes in saying, you tell her Usopp, but hopefully the pause in their fight will be worth it. They already teamed up with Shanks and Luffy, and both times were epic. They'll be part of this arc too, so maybe they'll focus on the final war and go back to their duel later. Honestly, with how long it's been going on, it feels more like a pastime for them, like two old friends playing chess every day. Sandy jumps in, commenting on how strong the alcohol is. One giant explains it's an absinthe called Green Fairy, and they should be careful because it can cause hallucinations. Remember that part because some crazy stuff is definitely coming, and we'll see if they start hallucinating or not. One of my favorite moments in this chapter is seeing Bonnie sitting on Kuma's lap, with a little smile on his face. Bonnie says, now we can finally watch the horizon together, Daddy, after all the pain and tragedy they've been through, especially with Saturn gone from the last chapter. This moment is such a touching payoff. Bonnie gets to experience a bit of the childhood that seemed lost forever due to Saturn. After all the suffering, not being able to enjoy the sun, and the treatments, she finally gets to share the outdoors and sunlight with Kuma. Kuma's small smile is incredibly powerful, considering everything he's endured. This moment really hits hard in the context of their struggles. Now we get to the action and the part about Shanks. The scene shifts to the island where, a month ago, Bartolomeo burned Shanks' flag in a cover story. Oh man, what a terrible idea. Bartolomeo, he got beaten up by the red-hair pirates and is now tied up, kneeling before Shanks. We all saw this coming, but it's kind of funny that someone started trouble with Shanks in Luffy's name, considering how good their relationship really is. Most of us see Shanks as a good guy, but you can understand why he says that if he forgives Bartolomeo, the power of the red-hair pirate's flag would be weakened. In other words, Shanks' reputation would take a hit. They have to maintain respect for Shanks' name, or all the islands and friends protected by that flag could be in danger. Bartolomeo apologizes in tears after all. Messing with Shanks is a huge mistake. First it was Kid, and now Bartolomeo. We're just waiting for Blackbeard to try something like this with Shanks. As we see, Hongo, the doctor of the red-hair pirates, hands him a small bottle. Hongo says, this is a deadly poison. You have 1 month to make Straw Hat Luffy drink it. This really adds a twist to the plot. Bartolomeo now has to make a decision that will reveal his true character. At the same time, Shanks seems to be showing a darker side. as he's willing to secretly kill Luffy instead of facing him in a fair fight, despite everything they've been through. Now, you might start to feel something's off, but props to Oda for creating such an interesting moment. Bardo responds with a simple what in disbelief. Hongo explains that whoever drinks the poison will die from intense pain with blood bursting out of their body. He tells Bartolomeo, "You must take responsibility for what you did. Not only will the target die, but it will be a slow, painful, and horrific death." If Shanks just wanted to get rid of Luffy, the pain wouldn't be necessary. This makes Bardo's next move even more impressive. The Bartolomeo Club pirates protest, saying it's too cruel and that Luffy and his crew have nothing to do with this. Suddenly, Bartolomeo grabs the bottle with his mouth and drinks the poison himself. That's right, despite trembling, Bartolomeo is willing to die a painful death to save Luffy. He just proved himself as a great guy, though maybe not the smartest. The Bartolomeo Club pirates beg him, saying, "No, boss, you're going to be covered in blood and die." Bartolomeo responds, "This is how it should be." Shanks and Beckman watch from the side as Bartolomeo, in tears, explains, "Luffy-senpai didn't give us his flag or a brother's cup to carry. We took them on our own, so this has nothing to do with him. I don't want even a second of senpai's precious time wasted on the likes of us. This is just another case of a fool who challenged a Yonko and paid the price, nothing worth reporting." Yeah, our boy then admits he wanted to see Luffy become the Pirate King, but now he won't, calling himself an idiot. And honestly, he's not wrong at this point. Some might start wondering why the poison hasn't kicked in yet. Well, luckily for Bardo for Shanks' reputation, there wasn't any poison in the bottle. Shanks seems to let them go, almost as a reward for Bardo's loyalty. Bardo sails away at full speed, telling Gambia that he once thought Shanks was terrifying because of his Yonko status, but now realizes Shanks is actually quite soft. Even Bardo admits they got off too easy, and it makes Shanks look a bit naive. We then jump back to Shanks, who is smiling aboard the Red Force. Beckman asks, "What's got you grinning, boss?" Shanks replies, "It just makes me happy to know Luffy has someone who cares for him so much." So, in the end, good guy Shanks wins out, even though the fake poison made him seem evil for a moment. But Shanks' crew knows he can't let this slide. He can't let his reputation and allies suffer. Usopp's father, Yasopp, appears behind Shanks and Beckman, aiming his rifle at Bardo's ship. Yasopp then shoots and destroys Bardo's ship in a massive explosion. The narrator then says, "Near the coast of Galter Island, the ship of the Bartolomeo pirates is sunk. Their fate is unknown." So yeah, it makes sense they couldn't just let them go, but Shanks didn't ensure their death himself. And in One Piece, it's likely they survived the shipwreck and will show up again. Also, props to Oda for showing Yasopp's power. He effortlessly took down the entire ship and the crew of a guy with a 200 million berry bounty. It really highlights how crazy it was for Bartolomeo to mess with this Yonko crew. As if Shanks wasn't already hyped enough in this chapter, we jump straight to Blackbeard. We cut to Hachinosu, where Blackbeard has returned and is holding a meeting with his crew. The pirates at Hachinosu are fired up and ready to go after the One Piece with Teach. Pizarro is controlling the giant skull, which now has bandages from Garp and Kobe's attacks. Sonyuan Volf is helping with the island's reconstruction, putting buildings back in place, but his huge size is hilariously causing more destruction as he tries to fix things. I love how Oda manages to make even a crew as terrifying as Blackbeard's funny at times. Blackbeard is furious with Pizarro for letting Kobe and even Moria escape. So Moria is still in play, wonder how he'll fit into the story later. Blackbeard knows Kobe was important for negotiating with the world government and the Marines, but he's also happy because Kuzan managed to capture Garp. That's right, they captured Garp. Kuzan says, "To be precise, I meant to kill him," referring to Garp, but Garp survived, and that's the big twist. Part of me always figured Garp might survive. This is One Piece. After all, and Kuzen's ice attacks are known for not always finishing people off. But another part of me thought this could really be the end for Garp, especially with that ice spike going through him and the whole situation. Either way, for Blackbeard, Garp is probably more valuable alive than dead, so he can't complain. He says, "Job well done, Kuzen. I can't think of anyone else who could have captured him." Pudding is also there, forced to sit by Blackbeard, who mentions they've captured a three-eyed girl too. The whole Garp situation opens up some interesting possibilities, like a Luffy and Kobe rescue mission, just saying. Then Blackbeard calls Lafitte, who's at the Naval Company Umit shipping headquarters. Umit is one of the emperors of the underworld and a guest at Big Mom's tea party. Lafitte is watching the Revolutionary Army's movements to cut off supplies to Marijoa. We see some burning ships in the port. Blackbeard laughs and says, "Don't let all the fun make you forget about the preparation. That sounds like a pretty important hint." Lafitte laughs and says, "Leave it to me." Meanwhile, Caribou, Katarina Devon, and Augur arrive at Hachinosu. Pizarro uses his giant island arm to grab the ship and bring them straight to the meeting. Pretty cool use of his power. We then cut to the Elbaf ship and get that promised Straw Hat twist, and it's wild. The narrator says it's been 2 days since they left Egghead, and there's a reason they haven't reached Elbaf yet, even though they're traveling with the giant pirate ship, the Great Eric. It's revealed that after everyone woke up from their drunken sleep, the Thousand Sunny had suddenly disappeared. Dory and Broggy say they need to find them and can't return to Elbaf like this. Robin, who is usually positive, starts to worrying that maybe they were eaten by a fish. Frankie quickly tells her to stop, but even he admits that the fish in this area are so big that it might actually be true. He asks, "Where did you go, Luffy?" Then we jump to Nami, and we start getting some answers, but not totally clear ones. Nami hears someone telling her to wake up. Maybe it's Luffy. We can't see the person in this chapter. The mystery voice says, "Nami, hey, wake up." She thinks she drank too much, and when she wakes up, she finds herself alone in a huge room made of Lego-like pieces. She's dressed in a Viking warrior outfit, like something out of an RPG game, which could also be an Elbaf costume, similar to how they had futuristic outfits on Egghead. She's carrying a sword on her back, and she's confused about what's going on. Well, the editor says what we're all thinking. The first thing that comes to mind is the mysterious figure marked by flames, with the all-black ship that pulls anyone nearby into a vortex, likely a devil fruit power. This could have been used on the Straw Hat ship. We might finally find out who this mystery person is. It could even be the same figure from a few chapters ago, hinted as one of the key 12 players for the final saga and the race to the One Piece. Let me know your thoughts on this chapter and what you think is happening with the Straw Hats besides Nami's cool cosplay outfit. If you enjoyed this Yonko-filled chapter, don't forget to like and subscribe for more, especially since there's no break next week. See you in the next one.